and welcome to the Taco Podcast. I'm Crystal. This is Will.
Okay.
Hi.
So, we're back. We got shut down on this channel for giving medical advice that was harmful to others. Because I said this word is not the cause of autism. Yes.
It's a weird day when you can't say a factual supported by scientific evidence thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, where do we go from here?
Well, there's certain words and phrases that we may not use when discussing stuff to try to avoid that in the future. For instance, certain researcher who was trying to scam people by putting out fraudulent research and started the whole debacle. Going forward, that person will be referred to as fraud. We're not fraud field.
Yeah, fraud field.
Yeah,
fraud field. We'll go with fraud field. That's how we'll refer to him in the future.
Yeah.
And?
What would we call the other person? Just brainworm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brainworm. Brainworm who wants to completely, deconstruct the health organization, here in America, but also wants to bring back all those good things like polio, measles,
now,
rubella.
Before we go too much further, I do want to specifically say, when discussing brainworm, there's going to be a lot of misinformation. There's going to be a lot of
he's
people,
full of it.
Yes. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to tell you, oh, he's brilliant, blah, 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 blah. And he discusses research on a regular basis. Look that research up yourself. I have listened to him discuss research now 10 different times. Every single time he was incorrect about details of the research itself, the conclusions of the research. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know if it's, I don't feel like it's deliberate.
Oh, I think it is.
I personally feel like I personally feel like it's hubris. At a previous point in time, he has read this research, and he's not bothered to refresh himself on this research.
Well, would you call it research if the actual information in the paper that he is reading from and that he is taking as the truth, though, would you call it research that he is, telling people about, if the other individual has purposely made that information skewed in such a way to only profit from?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not talking about like fraud fields research and stuff like that. I'm talking about there are legitimate research studies that brainworm has discussed, and he's wrong. He will tell you, look at the research yourself. There's a couple of very important things that you need to keep in mind. In my personal opinion, research under 100 participants is bunk. And between 1,000 and 100 participants is because you have to have a big sample size to get good data. Now, sometimes there are reasons why you can't get that large research. On a personal level, the kind of cancer that I was diagnosed with 10 years ago is rare enough that most of the research has like 30 participants per study. It's a limitation of the cancer itself, and you're going to find that. You're going to find things in the wild where the condition or the thing that they're researching is just rare enough that you're not going to get a large body of participants. You got to keep that in mind.
Fraudster based his entire bullshit, article and research paper on 12 individuals and ignored 18 million.
Yeah, yeah. And you also want to look at what the research. Well, okay, first and foremost, you want to look at the methods. How did they conduct this research? How many participants are there? You want to look at the conclusions they came to and the other papers that they referenced. A lot of times, and this is why it gets so difficult, even for people who are knowledgeable in the field, to actually do good in-depth analysis, because an average paper that you can read 50 to 100 different references, correlating all of those, checking all of those, it's going to be super hard. I used to belong to a group where we did research just for funsies. We'd take a, well, not did, but we would like take a research paper, we would read it, we would break it down, da 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 da. One of the members of our study decided he was going to take a weekend, or our group was going to take a weekend and do a deep dive into all of the sources for this one particular paper that we were doing. And a lot of it was circular referencing. And by that, I mean the paper references a paper, but that paper was written by the same authors, and that paper references a bunch of papers that they've already written, and then those are already referenced in the other paper. And it's essentially just a bunch of people referencing each other's work, and there's nothing novel that's
I'll
happening.
kiss your ass, you kiss mine.
Yeah. And it's hard. You don't know. Why would you know? We're busy. We've got jobs. We've got families. A lot, we have illnesses we have to manage, and then on top of this, you're trying to get quality information from people. You don't have time. I don't have time.
But when it comes to genetics, I don't like to use the word disorders or mutations, but it is.
Look, man, just don't get your.
I mean,
just don't get your
if you don't
medical
understand it,
information
if you don't understand it, you should be the last person to repeat it and make people believe that you are an authority on that subject matter.
Don't get your medical information from heroin addicts with brainworms.
Ooh, there's a good one. Yeah, I would definitely stay away from it. Can't we just leave the science to the scientists?
Well, no, businesses got to get in on that. They got to profit.
Oh yeah. So well, we should leave it to people to make a profit and to people to spread fear and misinformation, where they can then put forth an alternative for it and make themselves look bigger in social standings. I call it the Jenny McCarthy, syndrome.
Yeah.
And I'll mention her name because she's an idiot.
Yeah, we're gonna get canceled again.
Yeah, well, I mean, frankly, they've already. I gave them the information from the CDC. I gave them the information from the World Health Organization. I gave them the lead, studies from two different, universities, Johns Hopkins and the University of Genetic Research in London, and they ignored all of that and went with theory. Okay. So you had 18 million in one study and you had 12 in another. I guess it's just the 12 that he looked at. And let's not forget, Mr. is trying to push his alternative theory and his own alternative, vaccination. It wasn't about anti-vax. Don't give a vaccine. He wanted everybody to have vaccines, but he wanted them to take his vaccine. And that's why he did it. And he was discredited. And he lost his medical license. And he is discouraged, even after all of these years, for what he did. So, YouTube, what do you have to say to YouTube? Yeah. It mind-numbing, and I hope that we can go on from here, that they don't shut us down again for this. But they very well may. So just to understand that.
Yeah, if you take nothing away from this, don't get your medical advice from heroin addicts with brainworms.
Yeah. And by all means, question even what we're saying. That's what makes, a healthy, society, is questioning what people say and actually looking into it, if you really have questions about it, there's more than enough information out there. You're on the internet and you found us. You're on the internet, you can find the information to your questions as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just for when it comes to autism. It comes for, for everything medical wise. You can find that information. You're on the internet. You have access to it somehow to watch this. And I don't know where we're going to go from here. Hopefully we can, stick around and they won't, ban us for life.
Break the law, break the law.
Because we are lawbreakers.
Oh,
look at us. Rebels without a cause. Both of us. I mean, she is just another pretty face. And I'm not.
Oh, you're gorgeous. Look at this beard. Oh, so sexy.
All right. So, here.
Okay.
You want to say something in...
This is the end of my part of the video. You say stay fast. Did I say video?
Yep, you did.
Wow.
All right, we'll try it again.
I can words. This is the end of my part of the video. You stay safe out there.
Why do you whisper?
I wasn't whispering. I was talking normal. I do.
You like dropped like a couple octaves in there. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You stay safe out there!